Hey everyone, Lewis aka Spider-Man 991 here, where today I'm going to be reviewing the Gravity Falls Journal 3 replica. I really like Gravity Falls. It was a fun cartoon. A friend told me about it I think last year, or sometime around Thanksgiving, and when I was on Thanksgiving break, I pretty much watched a few episodes on Disney, and then I binge watched the rest of the series. This was all right before the finale event known as Weirdmageddon started, so that was pretty fortunate that I did that. Anyways, basically, it was a great show. I loved it. I am sad that it ended, but I am kind of glad that Alex Hirsch, the creator, has stated that he got to end it on a point where he wanted it to, so I think that's good. You know, it's always good when the creators end the shows when they want to, so that way they don't risk getting played out or dragging out too long. Okay, so back to the product at hand. Replica of Journal 3. If you've seen the show, you know that the first episode begins with Dipper Pines finding a mysterious journal with the number 3 on it in the woods, and pretty much the journal contains all this information about supernatural creatures living in Gravity Falls. And so one of the themes for the first season, for the entire first season and the first half of the second season, is who is the author. And Dipper is trying to figure this out until it's revealed halfway through the second season. And pretty much Dipper is, and there are 3 journals in the show. Journal number 2 was found by Little Gideon, who was the big bad of season 1. Well, not really big bad, so to speak, metaphorically speaking. And eventually, journal number 1 was held by Grunkle Stan for secretly, which we don't find out until the end of the first season. And then and all 3 journals together do hold a secret, which does play a role in the return of the author. So, anyways, let's get to the actual product. If you've seen the pictures of this thing on actual store sites such as Amazon and Barnes & Noble, you'll notice that you'll see the journal cover plus the Gravity Falls logo and Journal 3 on it. When I first saw this, when they released the official product image, I thought, oh man, I know it's a replica. I mean, come on, if you're gonna do a replica, don't add these logos and stuff on the front cover. But the good news is, when I actually got the journal, I found out that it's a dust jacket, and the actual cover is just journal number 3, which is very nice. And you know, the back cover, there are some glowing recommendations from Guillermo del Toro, R.L. Stine, and Grunkle Stan. And the good news is, you can take the dust jacket right off, and you've got yourself a perfect replica of the 3rd journal, except for the bookmark. Except for the bookmark, though, this doesn't have a monocle attached to it, which is unfortunate. But other than that, this is a really nice, really detailed replica of the cover. Also, the dust jacket is pretty impressive too, because when you open it up, you've got blueprints. Yep, you got the blueprints to several items seen on the show. You've got the lake monster, McGuckin's laptop, the dimensional portal, memory gun, and the Gideon robot, giant Gideon mech robot. So yeah, most of the time though, to be honest, I took the dust jacket right off when I got this, because I like it without it. If you want to keep it on there just to keep your journal safe, that's fine. But you know, if you really want a replica, don't keep it on there, because I mean, to me, it looks better without it. Now, inside the book though, the inside of the book is really great. I'll show you some details. Here we go. The gnomes. They're all really detailed, which is nice. I'm pretty sure these are the exact same things we saw on the show. Pretty much the first half of the journal is basically all of the information Ford discovered while he was doing his research in Gravity Falls. And eventually, though, when you start to progress through the journal, and when you get to the stuff when Ford first turned on, when you start to move towards get the stuff when Ford first activated the portal, when he tried to bring Bill into the regular dimension, you'll find out it'll pretty much lead up to the point where Ford decides that he's going to hide the journals. And then after that, a few pages are blank, and then you get to Dipper's. In addition to Dipper's doodles, or entries, there are some other entries done by, well, if I could let's find a good one here. Done by Mabel, and there are a couple, and even a couple done by Zeus. And yeah, you do get Dipper's, and you do get to see Dipper's entries, which cover all the episodes from the show, all the episodes of the show up until Ford returns. Because once Ford returns into his home dimension, he starts writing the journal again. And this is good because these entries actually have Ford going into detail of what happened when he fell through the portal and all the various dimensions he visited, including Bill's nightmare dimension. And pretty much also goes into a few more details of the backstory about how he figured out how Weirdmageddon was going to be happening and stuff. And yeah, and there are some entries about Weirdmageddon too. And the really cool thing that I liked was at the end we do get sort of an epilogue about what happened after Weirdmageddon and up until Dipper and Mabel leave Gravity Falls at the end of the summer, which is kind of like an epilogue of the series, which is really nice. Dipper kind of talks about how they restored Stan's memories too. So yeah, that was really enjoyable. And overall, this is a really great product, something that every Gravity Falls fan should have. Personally, I liked how my favorite thing about the journal was expanding Ford's backstory. I mean, Ford was a really cool character. He was the author of the journals, which were pretty much the whole plot device behind the show, and he also built the dimensional portal, and you know, he was a really cool character that we didn't get to see, that didn't appear till the second half of the show's second and final season. But the journal expands more on that. His early research in Gravity Falls up until he fell through the portal, then when he got back, and it kind of details about how he got back and what different dimensions he traveled, which was really fun. Also, I enjoyed the entries by Dipper, especially the little epilogue entries where Dipper even mentioned that he's thinking about taking up his own journal right here. Oh, and also one more thing, you also find out Dipper, if you watch the show, you know that Dipper is just a nickname that his parents came up with because he has a birthmark on his forehead that looks like the Little Dipper constellation. So he actually and in here we actually learn what Dipper's real name is when he talks to Ford about preparing for Weirdmageddon. So that was pretty interesting. Also, I like all the details on all the entries themselves, all the things that we saw, all the pages that we saw in the show. I mean, they are really screen accurate. If I looked up a couple of screenshots taken from when Dipper was reading the journal, and they are pretty spot on. The one thing that the journal does not have that doesn't make it a perfect replica is the pages with invisible ink. Now, I know in the show Ford wrote some stuff on the pages in invisible ink, hoping that they would be discovered, particularly on the pages that show the schematic for the dimensional portal. But they are not printed on here. The reason for that being that production-wise, printing a ton of pages with invisible ink would have been way too expensive. So that's why we don't have any on the journal replicas. And also, like I mentioned before, there's no monocle at the end of the bookmark, but that's okay. You know, to be honest, this is a very fantastic replica. I like it a lot. I think it's something that every Gravity Falls fan should have. The cover price of the journal, though, is $20, which I think is fair. You can also get a way better deal on Amazon right now. I believe it's only $11 on Amazon. I pre-ordered mine. I only got it for $9, so that was fortunate. But yeah, you can find a really good price for this thing, especially if it's in good condition. So if you go on eBay or something where it's used. But overall, this is a really fantastic replica. It's really nice how well they went to the details, making it look very much like the journal from the show, minus the pages with invisible ink. But that's fine. I like it. We also get to see what Dipper added to the journal and learn more about Ford Pines, which I think was very, very great. Do I think that they are going and do I think are they going to make the other two journals? Probably not, because we only saw Journal 2 a couple of times in Season 1 when Gideon had it, and Journal number 1 was practically rarely seen. The only time we ever saw, I can think of, that we ever saw Journal 1 was maybe when Stan was in the lab with trying to reactivate the portal to bring Ford back, and maybe a couple of times when Ford held it, but that was it. Too bad, because I really would have liked to see Journal 2, because when Ford talks about Crash Site Omega, which is the crash site of that alien spaceship, he does say that there are more details in Journal 2, and I would have really liked to have had that. Oh, also, I just want to point out that we do learn where Ford hid Journal 2, and when you find out where it does, it kind of makes sense how Gideon found it. So, yeah, overall, it's a great... This replica is only about $20 cover price. I think that's fair. I think it is a fantastic price to get such a good screen-accurate replica of something from a show. I know Gravity Falls is popular. A lot of my friends like it. So overall, I think that if you are a Gravity Falls fan, this is the product that you need to get, especially if you're missing the show like I do. But you know, it ended on a good note. I like that the creator got to end it the way he wanted it to, so that's always good. And overall, Gravity Falls, it's a great show. Really fantastic replica, so buy it. Okay, just said the same thing over and over again, so I think this is probably a good point to end the video. Thank you for watching. What was your favorite episode of Gravity Falls? Let me know in the comments below. I'm Spider-Man 991 saying, see you later.